Welcome back to episode 11 of Cafecito Corner. Either welcome back or welcome to our podcast. My name is Bree.
I'm Edward.
This is Edward, my co-host.
Your assistant.
Yes. We usually like to start our podcast with our peak and
Who's
pits.
the lead?
I don't know. We have different roles.
Who's the lead, do you think?
Probably me.
You think so?
Oh, yeah.
Like, who gets invited?
What do you mean?
Like, is this Bree's show and Edward's invited, or is it Edward's show and Bree's invited?
I actually feel like we should leave that up to the people.
I'm 100% sure that I'm the guest.
I think so. I think you're the guest.
The real question is, would people watch an episode of just you talking or just me talking?
That would be actually a really good question that we should ask the people. So, do you guys think this is Bree's show with Edward as a guest?
I think I'm more relatable.
Yeah?
Yep.
People do say, though, I talk more.
But I have a lot more skin in the game.
How?
I guess I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I think that would be a really good question to ask the people, though.
Whose show is it? Is it supposed to be Bree's show and guest, or is it Edward's show and guest?
Okay, we'll leave it up to the people, so we'll see what they say. But we usually love to start our podcast with the peak and pits. That way you guys know kind of like a little bit about what's going on our day-to-day. And usually, if this is your first time listening, you know that my peak and pits last for 30 minutes. But this week, it's actually pretty short. Not much went on this week, to be honest with you. I think it was just really work, and
This is a workload week for sure.
yeah, it was crazy. It was full of work, and then I think at the end of the week, I was just like, Edward, I'm craving some tacos. And
We did go eat tacos.
Yeah, we had some tacos, and I was craving a michelada. I was really like in the mood for one, so we went to my parents' restaurant, got a miche, some tacos, quesabirria,
Then we went to the mall.
and then we
For a little
walked it
bit.
off. Yeah, we went to go walk it off at the mall. The plan was to not spend, though.
For you.
Yeah, for me, I was like, you know what, I'm not going to spend.
You're the only one that bought something, actually. I didn't, because I just went to go exchange a shirt.
Yeah, you had a return, which your return did not go as planned.
Yeah, that. We're not going to talk about that.
I think we should talk about it.
No, because I don't know. I mean, it was definitely his fault. But
So you went to go return a shirt for the right size.
I went to exchange a shirt for a bigger size. Because I had gotten one that was like a bigger size that I liked the fit better. And the guy was like, he brought the wrong color. I'm like, bro, like, that's not even the right color. I think he was colorblind, so that was my fault. And he's like, oh, they're not. And he's like holding them up. I'm like, no. I'm like, this is the right one. So he does it, and he takes them both off the hangers, and he puts them together. And as he's like putting them in the bag, I go, I need to double check that because I think you grabbed the wrong one. But then you started talking to me on the way out. We got distracted.
So it was my fault.
Well, you said, let's go get something sweet. And then we started talking about like, no. We headed towards Cinnabon, and we're like, no, headed down. And then I totally lost track of time. And then once I got in the car and we were driving, I'm like, oh my God, like I forgot to check the shirt. I'm like, it's fine. We're already 15 minutes on the way home.
You had a feeling, though,
I had a feeling.
that he put the incorrect one.
So I got home, whipped it out, exactly what I thought had happened. Exact same shirt, exact same size.
That you brought to him.
That I took to him.
Yeah.
That I don't like how it fits.
Yeah.
So now I have to go back again.
But you know what? I don't blame the guy. I blame you.
For what?
Because you had a feeling. And you had that feeling while we were at the mall. So you could have already checked the bag
It all happened
easily.
so fast.
Yeah. We'll go with that story, babe. We'll go with that story.
When I was going to tell him something, you came with 9 colognes. You're like, smell this, smell this, smell this. Obviously I lost track of time, especially because you poked my eye out with one of them.
Yeah, I was like, smell this one, and I think I poked your eye. No, your nose.
Yeah, so I'm like...
The spray little hole was like in your nose. I didn't see it, though.
It's fine.
I was just trying to pass time because he was taking so long to do one exchange.
Yeah, that was unbearable.
But yeah, so that was probably one of your pits. But yeah, we went to the mall, hung out there for a while, and then we ended up getting tacos with our friends on Sunday and just had a good time. I feel like it was just like such a busy work week, and then like hanging out, doing something fun, going to the mall, and then hanging out with our friends. It's just like a nice way to end the week before another busy week. So that was probably my peak. And then I think my pit was probably last Monday. We had to go to the construction site of the restaurant, and there's still no AC in there. And we were there for probably 2 hours, I think.
Where were you?
I was in there for an hour, and then the last hour I tapped out.
You were there for 20 minutes.
No.
20 minutes
No,
tops.
no. We were like trying to like see where like everything was going to get placed and stuff. And I was like, no AC. It's 120 outside. It's probably 150 inside because there's no circulation or anything. I just like started shaking. Like it was so bad.
Shivering?
I was shivering for sure. So that was probably my pit, was probably going to the construction site and having to figure out a couple things while being there. But yeah, I'm keeping it short today. How about you? What was your peak and pit?
Peak? Oh, this is a good one. So, this week, Taylor Swift announced some new dates. Mm-hmm. Miami being one of them. So my whole family, father, mother, sisters, cousins, everybody signed up for
The
what's it
pre-sale?
called? The pre-sale fan verified codes. Mm-hmm. We've done it every time she's announced a tour or whatever. Nobody's been selected. I'm sitting in my office on a Tuesday. I get an email from Taylor Swift verified fans that I was selected. I am a verified fan.
I don't know about that.
With the code, with the time to log in, I go in, wake up at 6.
In the morning.
I'm in the computer by 7. Yep. Start preloading. I'm only 10,000 in line to 63,000 people arena. We're loading. Finally, I get in. Score 2 tickets. Because I am the verified fan.
Wow, I cannot believe that.
My sister stole them from me.
Your sisters took the tickets.
Yep.
Well, how did that happen?
Well, we were trying to get 4.
Yeah.
But we're only able to get 2. 2 of them, one of me.
But
Who do
your
you think
sisters
wins?
have been to Taylor Swift twice already.
Twice. Will they let me go? Probably not.
I think if you found tickets, they would let you go. But that's
They
crazy.
purposely put it on their credit cards. But it is my account.
Yeah. You would not
So
cancel
I think it was just a feeling of like how special you feel.
You like that feeling?
Being a fan verified, yeah. I know for a fact they're way bigger fans, but they haven't experienced being chosen.
How did you even get chosen for that?
I think it's a lottery thing, but we don't have to talk about that. It's the fact that I won.
No,
And
we'll
then
give you your moment though to feel special.
Pit. Honestly, it was a lot of like the construction site.
You've been going
This
a
week
lot.
has been annoying about that.
Yeah.
Like going to go see equipment, going to go see this, going to go see that. Yeah, it's just been a dumb busy week.
I think, to be honest, it wouldn't be as like heavy if there was AC in the building. Both our pits have been the Arizona Mills just going, but you have been going more often.
Yeah.
And
I mean, that project just since we started has been nuts.
yeah, it's been 2 years, I think, in the making.
Yeah.
I think we should kind of like explain to them a little bit of like how everything's been going down, because every time somebody asks us like, how is the restaurant going, and that's under the
I know, it's
construction,
just like, how do you want to talk about it?
it's just like there's so many things that haven't happened.
I've never had something in my life like be thing after thing after thing after thing.
Yeah.
And it's been like well over 2 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically when we started looking into doing a Frutilandia, we were looking in like Phoenix, and then we're like, okay, so let's go look in Phoenix. And then we're like, it's too far. We finally find something in Tempe, and it was a 5 and Diner at the Arizona Mills Mall. Mm-hmm. So we're like, okay, let's start working on the lease. And then, so we're working on the lease for like the longest time, probably 8 months.
Mm-hmm. Negotiating.
we're negotiating, we're going back and forth. We have to get a lawyer because like the legalities, the terminology, everything was just like way more advanced than I had ever like experienced. And I'm like, I don't want to sign something for like 10 years if like it's gonna hinder me at some point, you know. So we go get it looked at, and basically our attorney goes, fight this, fight this, fight that. So it ends up being like 8 months of us fighting that. Finally we end up signing it. So we go, okay, let's apply for permits. So we start developing a drawing of how we're going to remodel it, this and that. We're sending it to the mall, they approve it. Then we send it to the city, and then since that used to be a 5 and diner, had a patio, we wanted to turn it into a drive-through because we're like not a sit down.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tempe's basically like, well, listen, we're kind of traumatized because of Cane's and Dutch Bros, a coffee shop. They hold too long of a line, so basically you need to show us that you can stack a bunch of cars. Stacking is like the car that's at the window, how many cars can I hold behind it in line, right? So the way we were going, they're like, no. So we had to throw it around the building, flip some parking lots so that the drive-through could fit around the building. And then we're like, okay, whatever. So we're fighting back and forth. And they're like giving us things to like fix and, you know, comments. And it takes them 2 weeks to respond to every comment. And then we fix what they say. And then they fix one more thing and blah, blah, blah. It took the longest time. So here we are about a year and a half later of the first day that we decided to approach it. And finally we get a permit. So we're like, oh, now we can start construction. No. So then we started looking, and we never got as-is plans. Like, basically, like, hey, this is the last thing we kind of know is here. The mall didn't have any of that. So we basically have to, like, kind of play as we go. They start tearing down. They're doing demo and stuff. And then as they're going, they notice, like, actually, those canopies you guys put up, we never put on the plans how they're going to be held. So they're like, the roof's too heavy. If you're going to take out that wall, like, that's a bearing wall. And then it's like, Jesus Christ. So they're like, put these beams, put this. So it's another 4 or 5 months of dealing with the city. And not only that, we're like, okay, let's get advanced somewhere else, because obviously, like, this is going to take too long. So then we start looking into getting gas into the building. Then Tempe goes, oh, by the way, do you remember that explosion? The one we had at Chandler like 2 years ago? Oh, yeah, you have the same type of pipe. And basically, if there's a leak, we ask you to replace it. Or if you ever go vacant, you guys are vacant, replace it all. So we're going from the back of the building all the way to the front of the street because they bring it to the main street. You have to dig a hole on asphalt all the way to the street. So then it's like a 3-foot hole cutting on asphalt. So then we called the 811 place to like mark everything down. Basically, SRP's here, Cox is here with their internet, so don't cut there, right? And we're like, okay. So we're going all around that. The Southwest Gas people come. They go, cut through here. Because that'll be like the best way. That way you don't cut into anything. Okay. We start cutting, and then we find out that there's a huge blob of cement and rebar from when they poured the patio back probably 20, 30 years ago. They threw it in the middle of the parking lot, like at the worst part possible, like right next to the patio. And it's like, Jesus Christ, you can throw it at the edge of the lot, like where nothing happens. So the guy's like cutting into it, and like he's probably 2 days in, and he goes, hey, we're not cutting through this. You got to get somebody out. So Southwest revisits, and they go, okay, cut this way. This time go at an angle, this and that.
Yeah.
So just to show, till this day, we don't have gas. They're finally coming next week to turn it on. But it's just been like thing after thing. And then, I mean, what else has happened? Like,
I think literally everything that could happen during opening up a business has happened to us.
I remember a good one. We have like 2 like fences, like brick fences around it. Again, they're tiny. Oh my God, yeah. 2 cars on 2 different spots have hit it, and the mall has security. They don't even ask these guys for like their insurance or anything. Like, we had to replace that.
We're reliable for that.
Yeah, like they're like, oh, by the way, it looks kind of ugly. We got to fix it. It's like, are you kidding me? Like, where's the mall security? And then I run into the mall security later. He's like, hey, by the way, this guy just hit that, man. And I'm like, did you not ask him for insurance? Because the first time your dad told me about it, they're liable. The second time I ran to the mall security, he's like, oh, we didn't think of that. I'm like, it's a guy that crashed into our thing. Like, how do you not even get their information so that they could pay for it?
This project has been 2 years in the making, and I feel like it has definitely been like thing after thing. And I feel like after 2 years, we're finally seeing like the light at the end of the tunnel.
Finally, like I
Finally.
feel that too, because like now we're actually buying equipment, buying this.
Exactly. And I feel like we're getting closer and we have been so excited for this project. But at the end of the day, like, I don't know if you feel like this too. Like, now that it's getting closer, like,
You're
I don't
getting the
know.
nervous jitters.
Are you getting a little nervous about it?
I mean,
Because I feel like we've always talked about it. Yeah, we want this restaurant to open. Like, we can't wait for it to finally open. But now that it's like, okay, we might be 30 days out. Like, does it scare you a little
no,
bit?
it's pretty nerve wracking, especially because like, we've never dealt with a drive-through like at all, and it's a dual concept thing. Like it has two concepts in there. The kitchen's huge.
I feel like with our first restaurant, it was kind of different because it was already open. So it was like
It was staffed. Yeah.
already running and stuff. So this is going to be like so many firsts because it's our first drive through, our first dual concept because we only have one Frutilandia. Now it's going to be adding Taqueria Factory, which is tacos and a bar. And it's going to be our first like restaurant that we're going to be building from the ground up. So
No, it's very. It feels very different. Yeah. And I don't know. Like it's also scary approaching it with like, cause like there's been so many delays that I'm like, hey, so we had two guys that we had hired and we're like, we'll open in 2 months. They were training with us, and I mean, I get it. They had to leave. Like they weren't gonna wait for us forever. It sucks that we can't even plan on opening or anything, cause like or hiring. I'm sorry, cause like we don't really have a concrete opening date. So
yeah, and I feel like we have like ran into like really good potential employees that could help us open the restaurant. But at the end of the day, like we could say that we're 30 days out, but then I feel like
at this point, I'd rather call them 2 days before.
Yeah, I
Like,
feel like
even if they're not trained, like we'll figure it out, because I hate wasting people's time, and especially when like the balls are on our court. I don't know.
yeah.
But I mean, the guys have been moving pretty fast. Like I've gone out there a couple times, and there's no AC, like you were saying. So this week I actually took them some food and like some drinks from our other restaurant. They were pretty happy because like there's some cold drinks. Like yeah, I really picked
You
the guys
brought them
back up.
raspados, right?
Yeah, and like a pina colada, and then some other stuff that they asked
Yeah.
for. Yeah, but everything's moving quick. Like I mean, we're already choosing kind of decor.
The decorating process is definitely my favorite. Like, picking like wall colors, what's going to be on the walls, like the decor, the theme, like that's definitely like my favorite part of it. But I feel like it's kind of been like we pick something and then we can't do it because like that space is not available anymore, or like they changed it to like we're gonna add a TV there. So like the design
Yeah.
part, my half has been kind of like, okay, now we need to like readjust because there's gonna be no wall there.
I think maybe
anymore.
once it's a little more complete, we'll actually have a feel
Yeah.
for it. But what sucks is like all the equipment's all there, pretty much like 80% of it, and it's like it's getting dusty. Like I just know the cleanup process is gonna be insane.
Yeah.
So we'll probably get a couple of family members to help or something. Just pay them because it's gonna be a lot of cleaning. I mean, there's dust everywhere. Like
Yeah.
construction is no joke.
Yeah. It's
Um,
not.
But I mean, it's also cool though that like everything will be new. Like if there, I mean, it's like that new home feel. Like when we kind of took over the other restaurant, when we had maintenance of this, maintenance of that, and like this went bad, we had to go buy it. Like this, the fact that everything's new, I think it will just give us like 2-3 months to like focus on.
The operations.
Yeah, just literally that, and getting a team, and getting clientele out there rather than like, oh crap, like the fridge went down.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. I think it's fun though. I genuinely think it's like such a cool thing. I actually think construction is kind of cool now because of it. It's kind of cool to see how something looks so beat up and different to like modern and like nice.
I feel like they're like, because you have been definitely more hands-on on the construction part. Like, I feel like there has been a lot that you have learned too.
Yeah.
That like definitely going through the process and everything has been like, you don't learn it until you actually live through it.
Yeah, I mean, there's just been a lot of things that we had to like figure out and stuff, and so I don't know, that's been kind of cool. It's always good to just learn anything. I love learning new things, so that's been pretty nice.
But to be honest, I feel like also like my parents like kind of helping us like with the educational part of it, I feel like has helped.
No, I mean
too.
it definitely helps that they know
They've gone through
Yeah.
opening up restaurants, and they know, okay, like, watch out for this. Make sure you call
They
this
really
guy.
facilitate, like basically they've tripped over rocks and they are basically like, oh, go right, you're gonna trip, go left. They kind
Yeah.
of maneuver you, all pretty much almost to the finish line. So that's pretty nice.
That has been the biggest help because, to be honest, I feel like I have heard so many stories and like seen so many stories of like people, being so excited to open their small business, and there's just so many things that like you don't even think about that happened. And
Yeah, and I really feel like we just have like a bunch of, like even today, like we sold our old ice cream machine because we just got a newer, nicer one. And like this lady shows up to pick it up in like a single cab truck. I'm like, man, like I don't think you have any idea how big these things are and heavy. And some people really just go into it like not knowing what to expect or like much about it,
Yeah.
So
yeah, that lady, she was opening up her ice cream shop, and I mean, I was kind of talking to her, and she kind of just like is so scared of like the next, because she just says it's so expensive, everything keeps going up, and
well, the thing is like, I think what draws a lot of people away, like barbers and stuff like that, and everything, is just like commercial real estate is extremely expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Like for you to get like any square footage at a reasonable rate, a lot of people probably don't even negotiate, like or shop around, teeter totter between 2-3 locations. Like I mean, you, unlike buying a house. Well, actually, even when you buy a house, you shouldn't do it. You shouldn't just fall in love with like the home right away, because like
emotional buying.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, same thing happens with like real estate. It's like, oh, this would be prime. Like, I'm 5 minutes from home. Look at how many people I see in the parking lot, which is okay. Those are the things you have to look for. But at the end of the day, if it doesn't make sense in the books, like it doesn't, because commercial real estate is so expensive. And so like that's one thing that even your dad's like pretty good at, negotiating down rent. I think that personally, me going into that blindly,
Yeah.
I get hit with like, okay, yeah, oh yeah, you want to open a restaurant here? Your rent's $10,000 a month. That's where you kind of go, whoa.
Yeah.
What if I don't sell more than one? That means I'm liable for 9,000. So yeah, like everybody that like kind of just jumps the gun, you kind of have to know statistics actually. How much of your sales should be rent? How much of your sales should be payroll? How much of your sales should be this? And now imagine doing that without even knowing what you're going to sell.
Yeah.
So
I think a lot of people like find starting a business, like if you're a hairstylist, like you said, a barber, an eyelash artist, a makeup person, somebody who wants to start a coffee shop. It sounds so attractive. They sell you the idea of like, be your own business owner, be your own boss, you put in the hours. At the end of the day, it's going to be your business. But that is probably 5% of it that really...
But the thing is, it is attractive if you do the work. Because like a lot of people just expected like the moment you got something and you go, like, even let's talk about barbershop. It's like you open it and then you'll take one chair, but you have capacity for 9 because that's how big your rent is, right? So you maximize your space and you put 9 chairs. It's like it's gonna take you a couple months to fill the 9 chairs. There's gonna be people that are gonna leave. There's gonna be people that are gonna like not last. There's gonna be people that don't want to pay that price for the haircut. Mm-hmm. There's gonna be people, to get a clientele, like it's gonna take time for people to trust you, like for you to start getting the regulars. Like there might be a lot of people that try you one time, didn't like it, don't come again. Like there's so many factors with everything that like it sounds really nice when it's done, when you've lived it, when it's afloat. Like I compare it a lot to like swimming. Like it's like you're almost drowning. Yeah, it's cool, but like the real nice part is like once you're actually like. Mm-hmm. You'll know how to swim. You're not afraid to get in the water, But at the beginning, when you jump into a pool, you don't know how to swim. You don't know how deep it is. Like it's just like it's scary.
I think, like when we came up to my parents with the idea of owning a restaurant, like I completely love that they told us, "Do not do it. It is so much hard work." It is stressful. There's going to be hard days. Like they gave us the ugly side of the business probably for 3-4 meetings So I feel like that helped us so much go into it mentally, like prepared, like battle, like war. And at the end of the day, like if you still decide to talk to a mentor and they
But
tell
then there's
you,
even people that like neglect that. They're like, yeah. I'm like, dude, like,
yeah,
but because I really do think there's a misconception of like underestimating the work people do.
oh, for sure.
Like in any like scenario of being like a business owner is like, you know, there might be that person that can't hire an accountant. So not only is he a business owner, he's an accountant. You know, there's a scenario where the guy doesn't have a supplier. So he's his own shopper. He supplies his own store. He's his own cook. He's his own, like, whatever. Boom, 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 boom. So depending until you reach those, like, milestones, will you be able to hire an accountant? If not, until then, you were your accountant.
You grab the receipts and you make the
Yeah. And it's like, okay, how was the store getting supplies? Okay, well, or product or produce, you know?
Mm-hmm.
If your store wasn't producing, it was the guy that's behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Then 3, you know, who was in the line? Well, if he doesn't have employees, it's just that, you know,
Yep.
like it's the guy. So it's like a lot centers around a person until he can like
afford
and delegate. Because like a lot of people, even though they can afford it, they go, well, actually, if I go do my shopping,
I can save
I'll save
$5K.
$25, and it's like, isn't your time better spent maybe in accounting where you can oversee numbers and save $10,000, right? Because like of your overpayment in this and this, and you know, I'd rather spend an extra $30 a day to keep a person in there that's not me, you know, or whatever, $100 a day, but be able to like step back and go, okay, we're too high on payroll, we're too high on cost of goods, we're too high on, you know, dumb expenses. Oh, we have maintenance coming up.
So you're saying like instead of being in the line, in the register, like being a cook,
there's got to be a balance.
Yeah, step out and see where you could save money, and then also where you could better your business, where you don't have to be on register 7 days a week.
I wouldn't say step out, because I mean it takes time to get there.
Yeah.
But I should say that when you open a business is like that should be your number one goal, to be able to get to the point that you're able to just hover around it. Because then you could pinpoint a lot of things. Like you could become at that point the manager, maybe the accountant, maybe the supplier.
Yeah.
You're not wasting so much time in the line. Now you can go to the front line and find product cheaper. Now you can go behind your desk and find how to save money on payroll, blah, blah, blah. Maybe you're overpaying bills that you shouldn't be, you know. If your insurance is too high, shop it around, like things like that. So... I mean, it just depends, but I personally think that's what everybody needs to strive for, to get to the point that you are able to just hover over your business. But, yeah. I mean,
but
it's tough.
That also takes a lot of trust too, which like you have to like put trust into your business and the people who are working for you, because at the end of the day, if you can't leave the business, like that's just gonna be
that's like the logic of like the register.
That's gonna consume you.
Yeah.
And life is going to go by. People are going to be living their life. And then you're just going to be in the same position because you can't put trust the people that trust in you and that work for you.
Yeah, no, and that's what I'm saying. Like, that's the cash register thing. It's like, well, why would I let this guy do my transactions? What if he steals from me? And it's like, so you mean to tell me if your store's open at 11 a.m. till 9 p.m., you're going to be there 10 hours standing because you're afraid somebody's gonna steal from you? It's like, those are 10 hours you could be somewhere else, and if they stole $25, catch them and worry about it later, right? I'd rather lose $25 than lose 9 hours a day.
And with technology, let me tell you, it's easy to catch those mistakes that happen, you know? So I think it's definitely like a balance to be a business owner, kind of running it, also being attentive, but also being absentee at a certain point too, because like you said, if you're in the line front or in the back cooking, it's going to consume you. And you know what I have always heard is if you walk into your business not excited anymore, that's when the business, like that's when it won over your happiness. And that's when you should be worried that you don't enjoy your life working there anymore. And like that has always stuck.
Or there's the other one that goes, if you buy yourself a business, but you find yourself needing to, you know, be the cook, be that, you didn't buy yourself a business, you buy yourself a job. So it's like, obviously you need to strive to get to the point of you bought a business, treat it like such, right? Like it has to have its employees. It has to function without you, or it's not a business. If a business that doesn't function without the owner is like it'll go extinct with the owner. Like simple as that.
It's not like a big corporate franchise like Panera, In-N-Out, that if the CEO passes away, like imagine like the CEO of In-N-Out passes away and then all the In-N-Outs are going to go away. It's like, no, there's people in roles that have been put there for years, that have been trained for that role for years, for the cycle to keep happening. And I think that's so important, that small businesses like should try to strive for. It's not as easy as people think it is, but
I mean, it's like it's all a pie. I mean, there's just certain things that like you have to. It just depends how you spread your time within that, you know. So I don't know. I mean, I think that the thing that I like the most about it is like you never stop learning. So you're as smart as you want to be when it comes to your business.
And I think like there's always ways that you can better your business. Like there's always little things that you can innovate your business to. And if you stay the same as you have always been, then you're getting left behind. If you are not innovating in your small business, I feel like you are getting left behind at a certain point, because I feel like there's so many new things that are coming up, especially with social media. There's always like new menu items like that I see people adding, or like new business ideas, like, and I think COVID has definitely like helped the small business owners innovate. They moved into technology a lot more. You know, the coffee shop down the street never had a website before. Now they do. They never had online ordering. Now they do. You can get Grubhub, Uber Eats. So,
well, like, look, think of what's that, a cookie place you like, Crumble. It's like, realistically, if they only sold chocolate chip cookies, how many times a week would you go?
I would never go, because I would already know what the chocolate chip cookie tastes like.
So would you even consider you would go once a month? Probably even less, right? But the fact that they change up their lineup every week, the fact that they have that surprise factor, the fact that they probably have somebody in research and development going crazy, I think draws people to go, crap, it's not a chocolate chip cookie. Crap. Oh, that one sounds good. Oh, crap. I want to try that one. Even if they skip a week, you'll force them to go once a month, maybe twice a month, 3 times a month. And then there's people that go 4 times a month. Why? Because something as simple as a cookie gets innovated. And I think you're right on that. I call it the crumble effect, that I'm like, unfortunately, the way TikTok works and everything now, like we are craving the newest and best. Like how many times have you told me, oh, look what tacos, whatever, look what, ramen, whatever is selling. Oh, like the pink drinks now that the Barbie movie is coming out.
Yep, all the pink drinks. The Korean hot dogs. Yeah. It's like what's the newest trend, what's hitting. And as a business owner, you kind of have to pay attention to that, because that's what the consumers are interested in, and that's what social media is putting its attention to.
And the thing is, we're switching to like you have to appeal to a new market, because I mean you as you're like headed towards a business, you're bagging the older market, right? Because you already did like the newspaper, you already did the Facebook, you already did that. So it's like, how are you gonna like bring in the newer market of people, which is the TikTok generation or whatever? It's like you have to innovate, adapt, and grow.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like sometimes I feel like we lag it on that like I'm like, the Barbie movie came out with the pink drink, we should have been developing one today. So it's like, whether we like to see it or not, like it creates a ton of visits. Like, I mean, look at that place that we went to in the mall. You go, hey, let's go. I've been reading about this. I think it's at this mall. We go upstairs, the line out the door, and they go, we're sold out of everything.
It was the Korean fluffy cakes that are everywhere on social media, so people have to see what the hype is about.
I'm like, if you don't jump on the bandwagon, even if you fail once, every 10th time you fail, I'm like, you kind of have to like go where the people are going right now if you want to. And that goes not just with restaurants. I mean, like, I think of somebody that's even opening up a retail shop or something like that. Like, you have to continue to innovate. I mean, like, look at the guy that we know, the Steak 48 guy. To me, I mean, he has the logo Stay 48 Arizona related. You know, if he was only selling Stay 48 related shirts, I would have 2 in my closet, maybe 3, right? But then the fact that he has collaborations, he has this, you know, he's always inviting people, you know, like if he made one with, you know, a podcast that I like, I'm going to go get it. Because, you know, it appeals to me now. If he made one with ASU, I went to that college. A baseball team, you know, the fact that he's always innovating to me is like, how could I ever choose only having one shirt with the one logo that he has, or 3, whatever, 4? Well, now I kind of want all his shirts. I want his hats. I want, you know, because like he innovates in that sense, and you know that appeals to me and to every market. And I think it's also made me respect people that do that, because like imagine if you and I today we're gonna open up a clothing store. Okay, so we would kind of have to go negotiate our own rent. We have to go design it ourselves. We have to go find ourselves a general contractor. We have to go find ourselves a remodeler. We have to go find ourselves like the furniture, the you know, even lighting, the permits. You know, you kind of have to become a construction person. You know, you have to be able to find somebody that can deal with permits, an architect, and this and this and this and this. You know, it's 1,000 things that I think that when people hear business owner, they don't even, that never crosses our mind. Nope. They go, hey, a business owner gets to the point of opening their doors today, and it's like, no. Well, there's about 2 years of work, maybe a year prior to that.
They also think a business owner means freedom and a lot of money. And let me tell you, you will have freedom and a lot of money with 2 to 5 years of hard manual labor. Then you'll have the freedom. Then you'll have all of the seeds that you have planted over the few years. And there's a lot of things that like for example, Starbucks, they have their main staples, right? They have their coffee, but they do innovate with the new drinks. You see the matcha, you see the lemonades,
or just a surprise factor. Like
every
you see them bring in the pumpkin spice latte all the time. You know, if that was in their menu year round, you probably wouldn't get it that much. But when it comes around, you're there first day.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's such a good example of like, take something that everybody likes and then kind of bring an excitement to it every fall. And I think that's like such a great idea that they do that, because you know who does that too? Taco Bell with their nacho fries. They have them for a couple months and then they take them away.
So you're just talking about everything you love.
Yeah. And then like I'll have the nacho fries like once or twice, and then when they take them, I'm craving them more. Now it's just like, oh my God, I want the nacho fries. But guess what? I'm going to have to wait. And when they bring them back, I'm going to be first in line. So there's so many things that like, as a business owner, you have to keep reinventing yourself. There's so, like you said, there's so many pieces to this pie. And when I see small business owners like really make it to that line, like, to be honest with you, I have so much respect. And I'm just like, I know like how much work that has been, because I have seen my parents and my family do that, and it has taken years for the business to finally prosper. Like
it really does take knowledge to be able to understand that, because like it's not something that's visible that you can just see. Like if, and we've talked about this in the past, if we had plans with our friends and it's like, we have Drake tonight, oh crap, everybody called out. You and I, it's like, do we close or do we go? You know, if maybe 2 people called out and you and I are enough, you're missing out. Like, you know, you're gonna miss out on that concert. You're gonna go and, you know, not a lot of people are gonna stand like, what the heck? Like, you're gonna miss out on Drake? Yeah. I have a 10-year commitment with, you know, my plaza. I have a 10-year commitment with my franchise store. Like, I have bigger things than a $300 concert, right? Mm-hmm. So it really takes like, you know, prior knowledge to understand that, or wanting to understand, you know, that like it's a bigger commitment than
any fun activity, right? Any fun activity you plan,
or anything, like any like it's such a bigger responsibility than like, oh, I'm walking out of my job.
If we had,
they mistreated me at work today.
Yeah,
like you can't like you can't just throw the towel whenever you feel misappreciated,
when it gets hard.
Yeah,
like even if we had like a vacation planned and we have been looking forward to this vacation, and guess what? 5 people quit on us. At the end of the day, me and you are both in the agreement.
Whatever that we get insurance
for our vacation because we're going into work.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, there's nothing worse than going into a small business and it being Monday or Tuesday and it being closed. No, and then on their window, it says that Monday or Tuesday they're open. Like, it's just like, as a small business, you need to
because you have to show consistency
for sure.
Like, don't picture it to the level of a restaurant, because obviously people would get pissed off, but they know where they're at, and as long as they see lights on, they might show up. But like, think of if you had a food truck, you go, hey Edward, stop, look, that one looks good. We stop there, and then we go home, we're like, that was the best taco we ever had. Mm-hmm. We go try to look for it, they're not there. Oh, they probably don't open today. We go look again. Oh, they probably don't go there. Then we catch them. We go, oh, that was the best taco. Wait, sir, what days are you open? Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Okay, so we go Monday. He's not open.
I'm going to get pissed off. I'm not going to
go. Like, when can I find you? Like, I'm like, I'm not wasting my time, Like, I'm not going to go seek you.
As consumers, we are lazy. We don't want to try hard. We want you to be there when it's convenient for us. So that's why, as a small business owner, you need to be convenient to your customers.
Yeah. So, I don't know. And like I said, I think it sucks that, like, that's such a misinterpreted thing. Like, it's like, do you really hate that much that, like, I have a responsibility bigger than, like, my fun, than my, you're
like, trying to make memories,
than my experiences. Like, it's like, dude, like, this is way big. It's nothing personal.
At the end of the day, like, I think it would be hard if, like, you were on the page of, like, we need to make memories and this is our time to live in our 20s, and I was in a different place. I'm like, we have responsibilities, vice versa, right? We would have so many arguments of, like, then you shouldn't have signed up for a 10-year commitment of opening up a restaurant and you have to pay X amount every month to your landlord, right? And I think that's key as a business owner, and key as a business owner when you are partners. Because if you and your partner are not on the same page, it gets tough. Why? Because this activity sounds more fun, but hey, 3 people called out tonight. We have to go, So
no, and it's like the responsibility is so big that, like, I mean, there's no such thing as, like, oh, I'm gonna take a week off. Like, I mean, a week off is thousands and thousands of dollars of rent, of non-producing, of payroll you have to make up. Like, it's just like that. There's no such thing as, like,
closing the business and going on vacation. It's like, but that's why your business should run without you.
I think that we used to kind of take it personal when people would, like, question us on that and stuff or whatever. But I think both you and I now are at the point that I'm like, if they say something,
when our family members, or
families or friends or anything would say something, I think we're both at the point of, like, I doubt you got $10,000 to pay this rent or whatever, or
X amount.
I thought you're gonna loan me if things get tough. So it's like, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm here to survive on my own, and that's okay.
That is true. When we first opened up the first restaurant, it was like when we had to go in and we had plans with our friends, like, some of them wouldn't understand. It's like, yeah, if we don't make, enough money because we're not there, it's like the responsibility is not on you guys, it's on us.
I think it was an Elon Musk, like, interview that I was watching, that he talks about, he's like, when somebody has a kid, we go make a baby shower, this and that, and, like, we give them all the necessities for it to be open, or for it to be, like, born and be okay. Like, we get diapers, bottles and formula, or gift cards or whatever, right? And he's like, but you never see something like that when somebody's, like, trying to better themselves in life. Like, you open up a business, you don't see anybody go, hey, okay, so you got a restaurant? Hey, we'll pitch in for a blender. Hey, we'll pitch in for the ice machine. Hey, we'll pitch in for one chair. And I agree with that, because I feel like I would get a lot more joy out of, like, if one of our cousins or family members went, hey, we're going to get a restaurant. Hey, we'll actually, like, get you 2-3 tables. Dang, that would help out a ton, So that always stuck with me. And I've always thought that, like, if we ever hear of somebody, like, opening a restaurant that, like, we know is bettering themselves and, like, is going through, like, all the stuff we've been through, it'd be kind of cool to go, hey, like, we'll love to gift you one of the blenders or something. I don't know.
Also, like, when you're opening up a new restaurant, like, you know, if like the friends or family were like, oh, like the first couple of days, like we'll help you out. It's just like the time, like even the effort, it's just like being there, not even having to work. It's just like, I'm here to support your small business. Like that's like, I think a good idea. Like we should start doing that for people who own and
like showing
open.
up to like when they
Yeah.
open and stuff. Yeah, no, I agree with that.
We should do new business showers instead of baby showers.
Yep.
I think that would be a good idea.
Like just
But-
go support, get it. Like, yeah. Even just going and posting that you're there. People are like, oh crap, they open one. Like, I don't think people understand how much like that does for a business. Like it's insane. Reviews, like, you know, how many times has it happened that they'll open one up, and then the people that are around them get upset. Oh, their competition, so they go bombard them with like 1-star reviews. Like this place sucks, and it's like we've been open 12 hours.
Yeah,
Like how is this bad? You know.
Yeah.
But it's like the competition being upset that you went in. You know, like even just your friends, like telling a genuine word, like, you know, these are some of my best friends, whatever. Like, you know, come check them out. Like just giving like helping out with like all those like bad events that happen within the first 4 or 5 days would be sick.
Yeah. But yeah, that is definitely a lot that maybe some people kind of don't consider, like don't think about when opening up a business, but I think you learn as you go. Those are some things that, you know, being a small business owner, people don't think about. So I think it would be kind of like good to go into more detail about a couple other things that we have learned, you know, because I feel like that knowledge isn't on like YouTube or stuff like that. So I think it's good that we have kind of a platform to share about that. But that is it. That's a wrap for episode 11 of Cafecito Corner. Thank you guys so much for listening or watching us on the wonderful world of YouTube. We'll see you guys in the next episode. Have an amazing week.